Hi everyone, welcome to Slice of Life. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian at the Twin Lakes Library System, and I use they/them pronouns. For today's episode, I'm going to be continuing my series on manga series you can binge read, and I'm going to be highlighting two of my favorites, which are Library Wars and Dengeki Daisy. So last time I did an episode on manga series, I talked about action manga, and I covered a lot of series, it felt like. And yeah, this time I'm scaling it back to talk about just two. But these are two of my very favorites. I actually own both series. That's how much I enjoyed them. I actually bought them. And we have them like complete series at the library for you to check out. And one reason I kind of wanted to do these two together is they're kind of hard to categorize. They've both got a lot going on and kind of fit into multiple genres. They are both shoujo manga series, so in the US they're published by Viz Media under the Shoujo Beat imprint. And so, like, shoujo means girls, so they're like girls manga. However, I read across all categories of manga, and like, I understand like why they publish them that way. Like, they are the series are written and targeted for like a specific audience, but I would just say, like, don't ever let that stop you from reading a series. Like, everyone can enjoy shoujo manga just as everyone can enjoy shonen manga. And so they do both have love stories kind of like at the heart of them, but they also have so much else going on. Like, if you are picking these up and you're just expecting like a love story and a romance, you will be surprised because it's so much more than that. So I'm going to start off talking about Dengeki Daisy first. So this one has 16 volumes to it, and I'm going to read you the little description from the back and then talk about it a little bit. This one is rated for older teens. So this is the description. After orphan Teru Kurabayashi loses her beloved older brother, she finds solace in the messages she exchanges with Daisy, an enigmatic figure who can only be reached through the cell phone her brother left her. Meanwhile, mysterious Tatsuku Kurosaki always seems to be around whenever Teru needs help. Could Daisy be a lot closer than Teru thinks? One day at school, Teru accidentally breaks a window and agrees to pay for it by helping Kurosaki with chores around school. Kurosaki is an impossible taskmaster, though, and he always seems to be hiding something important from Teru. Spoiler, Kurosaki is Daisy. You find that out like pretty soon, right away in this volume. And I'll just say, like, before I really get into the plot, just in case, I feel like this is important to know, this is like an age gap relationship. So Teru is 16 at the beginning, Kurosaki is 24. So I realize like that could be problematic for some people, might not want to read that. I will just say I really don't think anything happens between them until like she's older. I mean, there are feelings for sure, but like nothing scandalous happens between them. And so yeah, I'll just put that out there right at the beginning. So yeah, one thing I kind of love about the series, I love Teru. She's just, she's very scrappy, I guess. Like, she is kind of on her own. Like, her brother's dead. I think her parents are dead. And she's kind of like having to take care of herself. Like, she's perpetually broke. That's kind of a thing in the series because when she accidentally breaks the window, like, she can't pay for it to be repaired, so that's how she ends up helping Kurosaki do chores around the school. And she's like, all the characters I feel like in this are kind of like goofballs. Like, they don't really fit into any stereotypes necessarily. Like Daisy, he kind of comes off as like this delinquent jerk basically at the beginning, and that's like very intentional, but also kind of like part of him as well. So he's pretty like mean to Teru and bossy, but you also get to see his very like soft and caring side when he's interacting with her as Daisy, like sending her messages. So she'll like message Daisy about like what's going on, and he's always got like really great advice, or he's just always, really ready and willing to listen to her and provide whatever like comfort he can, and that's like really sweet. So I don't know, he's kind of got like a lot of different layers going on, as does Teru, as does all the characters. There's also tons of like adult characters in this, which I really, I'm an adult, so I enjoyed that, because, minor spoiler, Kurosaki and Teru's brother used to work together, and there's like a whole backstory that you get to in the series. It's really cool, and that's where like a lot of the adults come in, because they were all like kind of coworkers and friends of her brother, and they're all sort of banding together to like keep an eye on Teru and like help her, but like without her knowing, which is really interesting. And they also all have something to do with this big project that her brother was working on, that kind of like, the reason he died sort of was like overworked. And yeah, it's like very emotional, honestly, once you like start to find out more about what happened and like what's continuing to happen. So even though this one is a romance, it's also like a mystery and thriller, and there's a whole kind of like the whole background overarching plot is like about hackers and computer viruses and all this like stuff going on. So yeah, Teru gets involved with a lot of shady people as a result of like this work that her brother was involved with, and Kurosaki's there to kind of like get her out of trouble and watch over her. And it's like they kind of have this contentious relationship at the start, and then gradually, as they're getting to know each other and get closer, that changes, and it's just really, really good. Like I said, it's 16 volumes. It's a very, like the story has a very good plot progression, and yeah, I love it. I really kind of want to reread it now that I'm talking about it, because it's been a long time, and I just wanted to show like a page of like when Kurosaki's in like growly mode. This is what he looks like sometimes, but then he's also like got his sweet moments. This is very shoujo, the like backgrounds and everything. So yeah, it's great. I recommend it. Okay, then Library Wars is like definitely up there as one of my top favorite series. So I'm gonna read you the back. In the near future, the federal government creates a committee to rid society of books it deems unsuitable. The libraries vow to protect their collections, and with the help of local governments, form a military group to defend themselves, the Library Forces. Iku Kasahara has dreamed of joining the Library Defense Force ever since one of its soldiers stepped in to protect her favorite book from being confiscated in a bookstore when she was younger. But now that she's finally a recruit, she's finding her dream job to be a bit of a nightmare, especially since her hard-hearted drill instructor seems to have it in for her. Yes, this is amazing. It's also rated for older teens, and yeah, this series, it is shoujo, but gosh, that's the romance part. It is there, but it's about a lot more. One thing that makes the series unique is it's pretty much all adult characters, and I'm a librarian, so of course I have a soft spot for books about libraries and librarians. And one thing I love about it is Kasahara. She is so spunky and determined and fierce, and I think she's like the only female in kind of like the defense force, at least when she's training. Like everyone else is like guys most of the time. Like women, they go into like the more I guess you'd say like office jobs within the library, so they're going to be the people you see in the library doing library work. And Kasahara's like, she wants to be out there like actually fighting and defending and protecting the books. And as it said in the description, that's because like when she was younger, she was in a bookstore. The censorship committee came in to like take books, and she had this encounter with this mysterious man who is a library defense person, and he like saved her book from being taken. And so she has like built him up in her mind as like this ideal, and she refers to him as her prince. And she is like on this mission to kind of like become his equal. So she's training really hard to become just like him, but she also wants to meet him and like fall in love with him. I mean, I think she considers herself in love with him. But as it goes on, she starts to realize that, I don't know. She starts to realize, I guess, that you can't really be in love with an ideal. And especially when she meets her drill instructor, Dojo, he's like amazing. I love him so much. And they just like, they have like a really contentious relationship. Like he's really strict with her, and she's always like, why is he such a jerk to me? And I think you find out this like right away, but he is that guy who like helped her when she was younger and like saved her book from being confiscated. And I think he's like in the interview when she's like applying for the defense force, and she's all like, I had this great encounter as a child and I'm off to find my prince. And he's like, oh my god, like what is happening? So of course, like that's kind of a secret, like he knows but she doesn't know, and the whole time she's always like complaining about him and like wanting to fight him, and he's just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? So it's really good. And I think one thing I really like about it is sometimes in like action series or whatever, like the main character is kind of like really proficient at everything. Like they're really great at fighting, they're really smart, and they're just kind of like top of the game. And that's not Kazuhara. She is very strong. She's fit. She can pretty much hold her own with the guys. Because you find out she's raised with like older brothers and used to like fighting guys and stuff. But she's not the most brilliant. She's not that great at library work, and even with like training, like her military training, she is like impulsive, and she kind of wants to like follow her heart instead of like the actual rules. And so she's having to learn a lot as she goes through training, which is one of the reasons why her instructor is so strict with her. Like he sees a lot of who he used to be in her, and he's trying to like correct those flaws. But it's so good, and so like that's kind of sort of the characters and the relationships, but a lot of the plots do revolve around censorship, and there are like actual battles and things like that, military engagements and like spying and all kinds of like really interesting plots that happen within the story, and you get to know like a lot of the people like on Kasahara's team and like her roommate, and seeing like all the different roles they play in this society, as well as kind of getting to know some of like their family members. So it's a really interesting concept and really interesting story, and really popular, I would say. Like, this manga is based on what are called light novels, like 4 light novels, and then it had like a 15 volume manga series. It has an anime, it has an anime movie, and it has a live action movie, and I've seen all of them because I'm like a very big fan. I haven't read the light novels. I don't know if they've been translated into English or not, but it's just definitely some of my very favorite characters, and I just also really love the art in here. And I forgot to say, but Kasahara, she's so cool. I actually cosplayed as her like at an anime convention. She is actually taller than her instructor, and it's really funny because she calls him like a chibi and stuff, and or a shrimp, and so like they kind of have this thing where like they definitely are like insulting each other at the beginning, and everyone's like, that's your like instructor, you need to be polite to him, and she's all like, rah. Anyways, things obviously change between them because, as I said, this is a romance. It's definitely a slow burn and really lovely, and I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, these are my recommendations. They're action-packed and sweet and funny and full of like super amazing characters, and the stories are really like top-notch and intricate, and I hope you check them out and read them. Alright, have a wonderful weekend and have an amazing holiday. We will see you all in the new year, so 2021. Get excited. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all. Bye.